Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the live show. I hope everybody had a great weekend and it is just flying by. I mean, these weekends fly by and it's almost Christmas. Holy cow, it's the last full trading week of 2024 this week. So let's see if we are going to have our little Santa Claus rally rocking and rolling this weekend starting up. So that is something that is a term, and somebody was asking about it. And yes, it's absolutely a term. If it's a Santa Claus rally, it starts rocking and rolling right around now, a few days before Christmas, up and until the new year. And it looks like we're about to see one. So I figured we were. It was just a little pullback on Friday. It was red, but it wasn't terrible. They were hitting some bottoms, and it was a perfect spot. And I think it's going to be rocking and rolling tomorrow. Look at what crypto's doing. Bitcoin's over 106,000. At least it was. I know it was at 105 up there, but yeah, it got up to 106, just like cruising right there, cruising along, looking great. So let's go through this list, see what's going to be popping for tomorrow and this week. And here we go. All information presented here is for educational and informational purposes only. It's not intended as financial advice. So always do your due diligence. How are you guys? And let's rock and roll. Start with TNXP and see what it looked like on Friday. Here we go. Let me see. It was up a penny. I know that. I do remember it up. And it did run up on Thursday as well. And let's see what it wants to do tomorrow because that's what we're interested in. So let's see. TNXP 24 to 29. It closed at 28. It looks pretty solid on mine. On here, it closed at 24 and it says it's at 20.2790. So just under 28. And it does look really good in them after hours. So I would say it wants to get cruising up a little higher because it is up higher than it was the other day, and that high was 26. So I would say TNXP is looking really solid right there. And I know we saw it down here. It just got into the top. And when they get into that top, that's when they can really start moving. They kind of slowly get up there. And as you can see, they either get in the top and pop and really get cruising. They do pop as they cross through, but then they really like to run if they get into the top and gets basically really cruising up there. That's when you see them really like popping up there and moving some a good amount. So TNXP has that look. Keep an eye on it in the morning because it looks pretty good right there. And let's look at ELAB and see what that's up to right now. Good old ELAB. It did split and it is looking pretty good. It was looking good the other day. I know that. It's been setting up in the right spot and it's been trying to go up. What'd it do? It went 230 to 240 down to 218. It closed at 226. So it closed a little lower. It was just kind of flat right there, but I'm telling you, this thing's going to set up. It was. It was literally flat there in the basement, but it did split recently. It had that look. I know it did run up December 10th, which was last Tuesday, but I think we're trying to get set up to move up some more on ELAB. So keep an eye on that. And that is ELAB. And that is ELAB. And let's take a look at True TRUG, that golf one, True Golf Holdings. This one teed off the other day. And it was looking great, True Golf. It ran up to what, 92 cents. It opened at 76. And the day before, it closed at 77. It went from 48 to 77. So it's been running up the last 2 days. And I'm not so sure it's going to run up anymore. I'll tell you what, it's going to pull back a little bit, it looks like. And it did in the after hours. It looks like it might have pulled back already. It closed at 61. So it did pull back. And what I was going to say is it looks like it's going to pull back just a little bit, possibly back into like the 40s, the high 40s, and or the 50s, and then it's going to get set up to run off of wherever this like 90 cent area. So watch for it to try to pull back this TRUG and then it'll tee off again. So we'll keep an eye on it and it is going to pull back, but it will set up. And that was a really nice run this past week. And that was TRUG and VCIG. This one is setting up, guys. This one looks like it wants to roll off tomorrow and get kind of wild. Did it run in the after hours? I'm not even sure. It did 182 to 269. It's at 171. This one just says 183, 182, so maybe it ran during the market, and Let me see. What did it say? It's high 269, 224. So it ran at some point in pre-market or after hours a little bit higher, but it still looks pretty decent, I think. I'd have to look at it tomorrow, but it was looking really good. It's just kind of flat right there. It was trying to curl up at that 171. I have to look at it. It could just be trying to set up again after it ran up Friday. So I'll look at VCIG tomorrow and just see what it wants to do. If it's trying to get moving or if it's trying to set up for another pop up. But like I said, it was looking good, and if it is pulling back, it will set up there again. So that is VCIG and IXHL. Let's look at this one because this one's curling up, hitting that line. It caught my eye, and it is looking pretty good right there. IXHL. We had looked at this before, not real recently, but I know we looked at it before, and it is crossed through. It ran 180 to 189. Watch for it to try to get up to that 205 and get through that area because it's looking pretty good right here. IXHL. So I would keep an eye on that because it is setting up with some momentum right there. So looking good. And another one that didn't look too bad was ILAG. And this one looks like it had like that bottom down here at 73 cents. And it's at 92 now. It was at 85, but it was way down here. It looks like it got way down. It got out of the top or out of the basement and then just came back. And it looks like it's going to pop off that bottom right there. ILAG. So keep an eye on this. Let me pull it up on mine. But yeah, I know I was looking at it and it is curling up looking good. And like I said, that bottom looked like it was at 74-cent area the other day. And it does look like it wants to get cruising. So that one looks like it wants to get moving up too. ILAG. So keep an eye on that. RGF. Let's see what RGF, that real good food company, wants to do. And that one is setting up really good right here, guys. So keep an eye on that this week. And I know we definitely will because it started to move. It looks like, 24 to 28. It's at 26. And I think this one starts to move this week. And it has that look. And I know we talked about it before and it was down. We've watched it down here at this bottom, so we definitely know, and it is setting up. So I would keep an eye on that one for sure, because RGF is going to get cruising, and I'm telling you, there's going to be a bunch. Like I said, it does look like we're about to have a Santa Claus rally, and it is going to be popping, guys. So I think tomorrow might be wild. Maybe I'm completely wrong, but again, we'll be watching it at 7 a.m. You know that, and we'll know exactly what's going on. I'm just basing it off of what I'm looking at from Friday, and also crypto got cruising, so that is a beautiful thing too. I'm not saying it's going to help the market, but it is something good, and it looks like the market wants to bounce as well. FAMI, FAMI. This one's definitely setting up as well. Whether it's tomorrow or not, probably not, but it could be right around real soon this week, possibly. So I would keep an eye on this FAMI. That one's also setting up to be really nice. And how about IVP? I know this is when we looked at that veterinarian, Inspire Veterinarian Partners, and it is touching the bottom, and it could have bottomed out right there. Let me see if it actually did anything in the after hours here. Nah, it came down to that bottom 18 cents. It's at 20 cents right now. I would keep an eye on this. I know it had run up there. Well, what day was that? December 5th. So that was a couple weeks ago. And yeah, it was a little while ago at least. And December 5th, last Thursday. So yeah, it was maybe not a couple weeks ago. Last Thursday it ran up. But yeah, it pulled back. That looks like it's going to be its bottom, and it should bounce right off of there is what it looks like it wants to do. So I would keep an eye on this IVP for a little bounce action down there. And let's look at Holo and see what Holo's doing now. HOLO. Let's see. Here we go. Holo. It was down 8 cents and it was just creeping down. And let's see, it's in the basement, so I'll have to see what this one's trying to do here in the after hours. I'll have to look at it tomorrow. It does have earnings coming up on the 27th, so it is after Christmas, but that's what mine's great now. We know when all the earnings are ahead of time too, because I set that up, and yeah, the earnings look like they're December 27th for Holo. So I'll just watch it. Could it bounce tomorrow? It could. but just I would make sure it's trying to get moving tomorrow because it is down at that bottom into the basement, but it is above the line on the MACD. It could bounce up, but I would make sure it is. And again, that's HOLO, our good old friend Holo, and GOVX, GeoVax Labs. This one's been trying to set up. I know I've seen this one a couple times recently. It was trying to get moving the other day on that December 10th. GOVX, and it could be that little bottom, and like I said, it's right between this channel right here, so it's been trying to set up, and that channel is what, like 232 around there to like 259, somewhere's in that area, and it has been bouncing around, so maybe it just wants to set up for this week and get rolling. But I have seen this, and it did look like it was trying to get set up there, so we'll keep an eye on that GOVX and see when it does. It should be getting set up fairly soon. And BNOX, I know we looked at that recently because it was making that base and setting up, and that looks like it wants to run up. Let's look what it did in the after hours right here. What did it do? It might have run up already in the after hours, 30 cents to 34, back to 28. It's at 30. It looks like it tried to run up there on Friday, but I don't think it had its full run up right here. Yeah, it did say it got up to 34. I think it still looks pretty good, BNOX. So we'll have to keep an eye on that tomorrow. Let me look at that one, BNOX, and just see what that's up to. INTC, we'll definitely do that. I don't know why I even put it down. It must have just going through the flow. I'll do that when we go through them all when I usually do. And TOVX, oh, that one's setting up really good. Keep your eye on this one, guys. TOVX, I know we were looking at it last week, and it had been setting up. Maybe the last 2 weeks we were looking at it, and it had run on December 11th a little bit, but it is setting up right there, TOVX. So keep your eye on that because that's trying to get in the right spot right there. And that is TOVX and WKSP. Let's see what that's doing here. WKSP Work Sport, and that one was running up. We did look at this last week. I remember it was already moving. It was trending, I believe, and it went 85 to 111, and it's at 104. It looks like it could definitely keep its momentum. It just got into the top there, and it was looking good. I know we looked at it, WKSP, and it looked good, and it is popping up there, so keep an eye on it because it could keep that momentum in the morning. And like I said, it looks like it's trying to get up into the top. So there you go with that one. And let's just see. I just wanted to make sure everything sounded clear. I did go through. I don't know what was going on the other night. I guess I was kind of like pulling back away from the mic. I have no idea. I tried to listen to figure it out. So I just wanted to make sure you guys could hear me nice and clear. And it seems like everything's all right there. So yeah, WKSP, like I said, I would look for it for a little momentum in the morning there. And VMAR, let's see that one, that Vision Marine Technologies, that one did pull back there, huh? I see what everybody's talking about. Let me see what it did in the after hours here. VMAR, it did have that nice dip and rip look. 170 down to 139 and came back up to 164 is where it's at. And like I said, it does kind of have a little dip and rip look. It was making a nice base and did pull back real good right there on Friday. So definitely we'll keep an eye on that VMAR. I like them kind of looks when they have that dip and rip. And I know CELH, that was looking pretty solid the other day. What was it doing? Down 20 cents. I know it was running up the other day, I remember. And CELH, what is it doing Friday? 32.40 up to 32.67. It's at 31.93 right now. It had some good momentum, and this one could easily just keep running up, and just had a little pullback there on Friday. It's setting up that 20 and 50 are going to crush it right up there, so I don't think it's going to have much more pullback right there. CELH, I think you're going to see that one continue to run up, and at GMM, Global MoFi, AI Ltd. And let's see, this one had been pulling back there. I think this is going to get rolling off. It was in that spot right there. It was trying to do something, and it just happened to pull back down here. 322 to 336 down to 310. It's at 320. And yeah, I think you're going to see this one try to get moving this week. GMM. So keep an eye on that one. because I think that one tries to get rolling and it's just has that look in the right spot. Your 20's like right above it. It's at what 385 and it can get up there with no problem. It was up there the other day. It was in the fours. So GMM, check it out. And Buru Nubaru, this was running like crazy the other day. I remember the last couple days it was running crazy. What did it do on Friday? 37 to 41, down to 21 again, up to 30. Telling you, this thing's like been running around. It went down to 16 the other day, and then the next day down to 25, and then Friday down to 21, and it pops right back up. It ran up like right up to 99 cents more, right back to 30 cents. It is curling down though, so I would be careful with Buru, and we'll have to look at it, but it does look like it's pulling back. But who the heck knows? Because it's having these big dips. And so it's hard to exactly tell, but it looks like it wants to pull back unless it's just going to pop off. So that is what Nubaru looks like at the moment. I can check it out in the morning and get a better idea, but it has been running around a lot. But I would look for some pullback is what it looks like. And again, maybe it's trying to set up and pop off, but I'd have to look at that in the morning. TWG, that Top Wealth Group. Let's see what that's up to. This one had that big old dip, and it runs around every day, but it does close lower than the price the day before. We just know that, and it did cross through, and it's just flat. It's just not ready. I think it is kind of waiting around the 20s at 27 cents. This is at 22. TWG, we caught the little run up on it when it was getting close to the line there, and then they do run around, and their earnings are coming up right after Christmas on the 27th. So that is what 2 Fridays from now or next Friday, not this Friday, but yeah, the next Friday. And so yeah, they do have earnings, so maybe it's just hanging out and waiting for earnings. So that's what it looks like. It's just kind of hanging out there. TWG and LGVN. Let's see what this is doing. This one runs around a lot too, and it does look like it's pulling back as well. LGVN. So we'll see if that's based out right there. It did 190 to 180, back to 190. My chart looks like it could have been that that 176 was its bottom. So yeah, it could be trying to get curled back up here. We'd have to look at LGVN tomorrow. And again, we're looking at it on from Friday's look over a weekend. And I have a feeling things are going to be cruising tomorrow. They look like they should be anyway. So we'll have to look at some of these tomorrow. NXU is looking really good though. That one's setting up right there and looking decent. So we'll keep an eye on that. NXU, let me see. It is. It's just right there, like playing on the line. Has to get just over 26. It's at 23, and it's trying to set up. So keep an eye on that. And this next one, I know I wrote the name of it just because I knew it was a OTC or something, NPPTF, and it's Neptune Digital Assets. And this thing, it is flat. It was running up there, and it was way down here at like 20 cents. Now you're at 77. It was way down here in October. It was way down, maybe even 10-cent range, not in 20s, but it's at 70 something cents. It could be trying to roll off. I'm just looking at the one chart here, and it does look pretty solid. I'll tell you from the one chart looking at it, and it does look like it wants to roll off that MACD and run up higher. So that's what that NPPTF looks like. And again, I don't really mess with any of the OTCers, so that's what that looks like. And PIRS, a lot of people are talking about this. I don't even know what it's called, but it took a nice dip the other day. I'm not exactly sure why, but it did take a nice dip. Someone did post the reason why. I didn't even look at it, to be honest with you. And I'll have to look at it when I'm done, though. I was just kind of doing the list and everything, so I didn't get a chance to, but I did see somebody posted this is the reason why it dipped, and it did take a nice dip. PIRS. And it would do 1551 down to 1326, and that's where it's at. And just the other day on the 10th, it was at 1730 as its high. So took a huge dip. It's a pharmaceutical company. And I don't know, it could have that little bounce look, to be honest. It came down and it's hitting that bottom, and it looks super bullish up here. I would look at it tomorrow for a little bounce look. I'll definitely keep an eye on it. PIRS, so I'll be watching it for sure. I'll look at that PIRS. So like I said, real nice dip right there, and maybe it'll try to get that bounce off the bottom. So we'll look at that. It is a biotech company in the U.S. and Adobe ADBE Adobe. This is way down. We were looking at it the other day. It was trying to run up, and it did. It got up to the top. We basically stopped looking at it. It hit that resistance and then came way down. They just had their earnings, and again, December 11th. I can't. It was going up. It looked great to go up on its earnings right there, and guess what it did? It came completely down. If I had to have guessed, I would have said it was going to run up into the top, and it just hit the resistance and came straight down. And now it looks like it's going to try to bounce back up, but you're at a way better price because on its earnings day, its high was 552. A couple days before that, its high was 557, and now we're in 464. So that's a pretty big difference right there for Adobe and ADBE. I think is going to try to get bouncing again, guys. So its low was 456.80. It's at 464. So even if you had caught that bounce off of there right there, I mean, geez, 456 and it's at 464 right now. That's pretty sweet. And like I said, Adobe might be one to keep an eye on. It's not exactly the most bullish, but it is going to be bullish down the road. But it does look like it's going to bounce off. I'll look at it tomorrow again. It just came down on its earnings. It looked pretty good to me. So who the hell knows? The E is green, so I don't see anything wrong. I just don't understand all the earnings because every time I look at them, it does the exact opposite. It's actually it's kind of laughable. But I it doesn't bother me because we know we're not playing them, and now we know you can catch a really sweet dip like that. So that's ADBE, and I'll be watching that one for sure right there for a bounce as well. And let's look at Lunar, LUNR. This is an aerospace and defense, and we need it over here in Jersey. I posted a guy that has a drone company. I forget what state he's in, but it might have been around Michigan. I might be wrong. But anyway, he does have military contracts. He was showing his drone, and he had a pretty good opinion on it. He said, listen, this is just an opinion, but this is why you fly drones, and this is the reason. And he was saying that there's like this nuclear head that was in Ukraine or in Europe, and it disappeared, and no one knows where it is, but it was supposed to be making its way over to the U.S., and that's what they're looking for. And that's just his opinion, but I mean, it's pretty plausible because again, they're not shooting these things down. They're letting them fly all over. They're super low. I mean, you should have seen them last night. I was out doing some Christmas shopping, and I mean, in the one shopping center right near me, I could have stood on top of the sign for the shopping center and just grabbed it out of the air. I mean, it wasn't much higher than that. It was me and a guy sitting at the traffic light. We're just looking at it like, holy shit, that thing's super low, and it's big. I mean, them things are huge. So you don't want to be getting hit with them. That's why we were looking at it because it was like right over our cars. We were like, oh man, this thing like falls out of the sky. We're in trouble. So yeah, there was like 30 of them right over top of us. And so yeah, who the heck knows what they're looking for? But I did post that this morning. And again, it's who knows? They're not telling you anything. So anything's feasible. But I mean, he has a pretty good insight to these things. And again, it is, I mean, it does kind of make sense. I mean, they're not saying anything and yeah, they're not shooting these things out of the air. So who the heck knows? Anyway, Lunar, that's aerospace and defense. We'll have to look at it too. And this one does look like it has a crazy little look going on here. LUNR. And let's just see. LUNR. I think LUNR is about to get lunar again. Last time I said that, it went flying. I'm not saying it's about to go absolutely nutty yet, but it is looking like it's trying to set up here. So we'll keep our eye on LUNR and the aerospace and defense. We'll have to look at them bad boys and see what they're up to. That CKPT, Checkpoint's a biotech company. And this one was pulling back, but it is super bullish. I can tell you that. CKPT. So you could catch a really good dip, and what it do? It looks like it bounced up in the after hours here on mine. Because on FinViz it says 367, and in the after hours 376, and mine says it's at I was just making sure it was Friday the 13th because it says it's at 427 and it ran up to 445. So it's like looking at two different worlds there. And yeah, this thing looked like it was, I mean, it looked like it was super bullish, like I said, had some pullback, looked like it could be bouncing, and it did some bouncing. So keep your eye on this thing, CKPT, because it looks like it has some momentum and it does want to run. And I'm telling you, like I say all the time, my Trend Spider ones are just incredible. Like if you look at that on FinViz and you're trying to do your research, and then you don't know that it's at 427 and it already blasted off. And again, I have the Elite service, so I pay for it, and yeah, it's just completely off. So it doesn't even look the same. I mean, the charts look completely opposite. It looks like you're looking at two different worlds, and that's CKPT. But yeah, it does look pretty good for a nice bounce play tomorrow and to keep that momentum. So keep an eye on that. And PLAY, I believe, is Dave and Buster's. PLAY, Dave and Buster's. There you go. This one's going to be setting up. Oh, they got beat up by their earnings, it looked like. And another one, I would have said, wow, that looks good going in the earnings. And then just got crushed down here, but looks great. It's about to bounce. So, play PLAY might be a good play for tomorrow. So keep an eye on that one for sure. I'll be watching that. Looks like it wants to bounce right there. And I'm pretty sure they have options on that one. And it doesn't look bad right there. PLAY. And again, it took a nice dip. I would say on Thursday the 12th down to 25 hours was its a low right there. And it is at 27.88. And it does want to get cruising back up and it can get up to 35. So this could be a nice little runner. And that's PLAY. And that's Dave and Buster's. So again, hit that earnings, got crazy, took a major dip, and that's why we're not going to play the earnings. We play it going in and then get out and then watch the earnings, whatever it wants to do, the reaction, and then you play it, especially if they have these nice dips. I'm telling you, they're perfect. They just dip out of nowhere on earnings and then just go right back up. So like I said, I don't understand why people play the earnings, so we're just going to play around it and just smack them out of the park. So Rhyme Algorithm Holdings or something like that. No, Algorithm Holdings. Oh man, had to look at that twice. That one's curling up too. That one is going to be rhyming this week, I think. So keep an eye on this thing and maybe even tomorrow. So keep an eye on Rhyme because that looks like it could get moving and it's down at 7 cents. So it is a penny stock, maybe right around 8 cents. And so yeah, it is down there, and the 20's way up there too. It took some nice dips down here from like 18 cents the other day on the 4th and just came way down. Like I said, it's trying to curl up. We'll keep an eye on it. And like I say, on my chart, it looks pretty good. So I'll look at it tomorrow because it could be moving. And if it's not moving in the morning, it could be really setting up to get cruising this week. MDAI, this one had run up pretty nice. It's pulling back right now. It's about to hit some good support and the MACD line. So we're pretty much going to look at this in the morning. Let me look and see what it did in the after hours. And it did $2 to 251 down to 161. It's at 180. It actually looks like it crossed down coming through, but it could easily pull its way back up or even come back down a little bit more and then cross back up. So it does have a bunch of support down here. So I can't imagine it going real low. But we'll see what happens with MDAI, and that's called Spectral AI. And it did run up the other day. And let's take a look at SNSE. That one was setting up in the right spot the other day, and it still is, guys. I'm telling you, this thing's about to get cruising. I know we were looking at it, and Stock Authority was looking at it as well. And when we were looking at it, it popped right up there, and then it started pulling back, and that's expected. I mean, you get a quick little run, but now it's setting back up for like a much better run, I think. So check out SNSE, Sensei Biotherapeutics. This thing's going to get cruising again, guys. So did run up that one time not long ago on between November 25th to 26th, and now it's back down, and that's perfectly fine because it's setting up to be really good. So Keep an eye on that SNSE because that's setting up. And didn't we already do VMAR or no? Let me see. Vision Marine Technologies. Didn't I already do this? I have to look. Yeah, I was gonna say I know I did this one. Wrote it down twice. There you go. COEP. We'll look at that instead. How about that? COEP. Here we go. This one looks like it's just pulling back right there, unless it did something crazy in the after hours. So COEP. And I mean, it doesn't. I have to look at this tomorrow. It's got it. This one runs around a lot. That's for damn sure. On Friday, 18 to 21, down to 17. It looks like it moves around more than it does. It's only like 3 or 4 cents. It looks like it's moving a lot more on the chart here. I'd have to look at this one, but nothing too crazy right there, I don't think. And NEOV, let's see this. This one could be curling back up. It had run up recently and it could be curling back up. Let me see. It's between that channel right there. It does look like it's trying to curl up. And the other day, Thursday at 440, could be its bottom right there. And it's at 485. So NEOV, that could be setting back up. And QLGN, let's look at Collagen Therapeutics. And this one looks like it's about to get curling back up and roll off the MACD. So keep an eye on this if I could type it in, QLGN. Yeah, it looks like it's about to roll off tomorrow, actually. I'd keep an eye on this tomorrow. QLNG, that looks like it could get rolling, guys. So keep an eye on that. And this TRNR has been running around a lot lately. I know we've been talking about it. It's still in a really good spot, guys. I'm telling you, this thing could get cruising this week. In the blink of an eye. It's just sitting right there at the right spot. And it did run up to like from 275 to 481 the other day, and also from like 310 to 437. It's at 305, and it's in a pretty decent spot and it has a lot of crazy looks. So keep your eye on this TRNR. I don't know what's going on with it, but I think something's happening there. And CLRB, let's see what that's doing. Collector Bioscience is way down there in the bottom right here. CLRB. Let's see. This one's a way down there stock, and we like them down here. I'm not so sure it's ready to set up, so I might have to keep that on a list to keep an eye on. And ARKW, Next Generation Internet ETF. Let's see what this is doing. It's in the top up here. I don't know if I'd be messing with this up here. ARKW. I'm not, even if it went up, I wouldn't be worrying. It is pretty bullish, but it's at that top and could teeter back and come down a little bit, so I wouldn't mess with that. What's next over here? Good old Robinhood is HOOD, Robinhood, and that one's at 40.21, and it's going to be curling up, guys, especially with crypto looking the way it is. So it wanted to curl up, and I thought so. These ones were looking good on Friday, and it's well, obviously that's the look we're looking at. So it does look good on right now, and it's probably going to continue tomorrow morning. That PBM that was down 19 cents recently split, tried to run up. It doesn't look bad there. Let me see what it did here. Yeah, don't look too bad. $2 or 218 down to 178. Where else is its bottom? I have to see if it tries to pull back any. They have earnings coming up on the 27th. Looks like that 27th has a ton of earnings coming up. But PBM I'd have to look at tomorrow to get a better idea. And GOEV, Canoe Inc. This one was kind of setting up. It's in the basement down here. GOEV. And it does look like it's trying to get set up. It tried to run up there on Thursday up to like 29 cents. We're at 13 cents right now. So keep an eye on this to try to get bouncing up. GOEV, it does kind of want to go. And there you go with that bad boy. Let me see what you guys want to see real quick. Here we go. Laptop travel. I know laptop travel's super busy, but we appreciate everything always. Laptop travel, you bang out your work. It's a busy season for him. It's holiday season. Of course, you're probably busy with everyone traveling. So no worries there. And I'll definitely go through all your call options and everything. I have them written down. So we got your laptop travel. And RD, how are you? And DBX and NWL. Let's look at that DBX. Let's see what that Dropbox. I didn't even know they were on here, to be honest with you. First time I ever saw that, I think. Not that I've ever remembered, but that's awesome. DBX Dropbox. I always use that. I like Dropbox. It's a good service. DBX, it's pulling back up here. It did run up. It was up at the top. It is bullish. It's going to continue up. I mean, they got a solid company there, software and infrastructure. It's really good. Cloud network, obviously, and stuff like that. And it's up there. It ran up on Friday up to 31 or 3070. Yeah, 3071, and it's at 2977. It could pull back. It was trying. I mean, it depends. Tomorrow could be a little wild. It could pop right back up. Yeah, that one's a hard one to tell what it wants to do tomorrow. I'm not gonna lie, right there, RD. But I'll look at Dropbox. I'm gonna write it down, DBX, because I wasn't even familiar with that stock ticker right there. So, and NWL, let's look at that. NWL Newell Brands. This one looks like it's coming down out of the basement. Let me just confirm it. And yeah, it does look like it's going to come down. We'll have to see when it comes down and hits that MACD line, see if it wants to hold it up. I'm not sure how far it's going to come down. It did pull back there, what, 1067 around there. Unless it just pops back up in the morning, and another one I'd probably have to look at in the morning, to be honest with you, RD, because it could pop up there, but it's not showing me that it wants to, but it could go either way. So I'd have to look at both of them, to be honest, and I totally can. NWL, I'll jot that one down as well. And there you go. I'll check them out for you, RD, no problem. And GLNK, let's see what that's doing. Luis Rodriguez probably running up. Grayscale Chain Link, I'm sure, is running up here. GLNK. Yeah, it don't come up on here. It comes up on, I didn't think it would. GL, yeah, I didn't think it would. But it is running up there. It is looking really good. That Grayscale Chain Link, and what's it at? 130, and it does want to run up more. It's just running up. I mean, it's just all of them are right now at the moment. And that one did look good. UMAC, that's at unusual machines, and this is getting unusually good again. So keep an eye on this because it did run up pretty wild before. What did it run up to? I forget. $25. You're back at 1140, and it wants to get cruising. So I would say keep that on your list. UMAC, because that one wants to get cruising tomorrow. It ran up. What it do? 932 to 1150. It closed at 1140, and it does look really good right there, Luis Rodriguez. I like that one a lot. And so there you go. And boom, let's see. Here we go. MSTR. Let's see. MSTR, MicroStrategy. We'll go through that, Luis Rodriguez. You know that. I just want to run through them real quick and see what you guys are looking at. And there you go, Robert Kelly. I think we just did CKPT. First time you're popping in. Thanks for checking it out. And I'll do it again. We just went through it a couple minutes ago. And I'll tell you again because I do remember I'm looking at it right now and I have the thing marked and it's definitely looking good. It did pull back down there and it was pretty bullish. I don't know why it even pulled back. Did they even have any news? I have no idea. December 13th, the Checkpoint Therapeutics announces FDA approval of Unloxy something. I have no idea. I'm not even going to open up the thing, but anyway, yeah, I don't even understand when this happens. They get good news and then it dips. It's like a dip and rip situation. And yeah, it started to pop up in the after. This is the one I was saying on Finviz. Looks at completely different, two different charts. But yeah, it popped up there in the after hours. It's a 427 and it looks pretty solid to continue to run up there in the morning. So I would say it's good. And again, if you look at Finviz, it says it closed at 367 and it went up in the after hours to 376. It looks like it's coming down hardcore. And then if you look at my charts on the Trend Spider, you can see that it ran up to 445. It's at 427 and it's ready to rock and roll some more. So that is CKPT. And Robert Kelly, thanks for tuning in and checking us out. So there you go, and we'll keep on cruising right through our list right here. And let's see, CRKN. Let's take a look at that. I'll blast through all these guys real quick, and we'll look at the rest so that we can just blast through on a Sunday night. Get ready for this week and see what's going to be popping. So CRKN just kind of running flat down here at a penny, penny down, and it had curled through. Let's see. I have to see it though. Let me see it on mine. It should be trying to get moving. I mean, that 20's way up there. I don't think it's waiting for that at 46 cents. You would think it would have had a little bit of a pop off. It did a little bit, and pretty much what, 1, 2, 3 days. I'm telling you, it's like 3 days now, December 9th, and it was what, 28 to 30 cents and came down. So it wasn't anything crazy. We'll watch it and see if it really wants to get moving here. It just keeps running. It runs around, but then it keeps closing lower than the price before, and we do see that often with these penny stock guys. And this is at what, 20 cents. So I'll look at this tomorrow, CRKN, and see what it's going to do, and I'll let you guys know if that one's going to be any good. ILLR, it's called Triller Group, and this one's just pulling back down here pretty hard. I Hold on, ILLR. I don't think I've ever heard of this either, and it is way down here. That could be a little dip and rip. Came down to 261. It's at 267. I'd have to look at this tomorrow to see. It still has some room to pull back right there. So ILLR, it could pull back a little bit more. So I can look at that one. Wait, hold on. I think that's LDTC. Hold on 1 second. LDTC. I know that's what it was. That Letter Tech Holdings, and it is in the top right here, and it does look like it wants to keep running up, and that's how I kind of knew what this one was. We've been looking at it. It ran up all the way to 275 the other day, and then Friday it ran up to 224. It was 168 to 224, and it's at 182, and it looks like it wants to continue to kind of run up. Just be careful. It is in the top. Another one, you have to look at that in the morning. If it's moving in the morning, you know you're getting that momentum play, and that's a software app company from Canada, and that is LDTC and BHAT. Blue Hat Interactive Entertainment Technology. This one looks good, crawling up, getting out of the basement. At least it looks good on here. Let's see what it looks like on mine. Yeah, I would say you're gonna get trying to get crawling up right there and probably bottomed out. So keep an eye on that. BHAT, that one could get moving, and it's at like 12 cents. So that's a nice penny one right there. ALGS, let's take a look at that. ALGS. That one's way up here. I wouldn't be messing with it. I mean, it's been running up, and you know how I don't like them up at the top like this. ALGS, and that one could be topping out up there. It's up at what? It ran up to what? 35.99. It's at 34.06. I'd be really careful with that one. It's been running up in the top since like November 8th or 11th, and for over a month, let's put it that way. So you want to be real careful with that ALGS, and if anything, it's a momentum play, and you know it's going up. HAO, this one I think is still just sitting here getting set up, taking its good old time. I don't think it's waiting for the 20. That's at 17 cents. We're at 13. It was trying to run up multiple times, HAO. So I don't know what it's really waiting for down here, but we'll keep an eye on that in the morning, see what it wants to do, and I'll let you guys know because we've been watching that, and it's just kind of hanging out down there, not doing a whole lot. That lion took a nice dip. That could be a really nice dip and rip situation. Almost popped right into the basement, but barely, where it's one of them looks where it can pop right out. That line, LGHL. I'm telling you, these penny stocks are crazy, guys. You get set up looking in the right spot, then you get these huge dip and rips. So, I mean, it's been closing lower. It just keeps going down as they keep setting up. And yeah, you could have a really nice dip and rip situation going on with LGHL this week. So we will keep an eye on that, and it's down at 13 cents. And I'm telling you, these penny ones are tough anymore. This one was trying to get right there, especially 2 days ago. Even so, the whole week. I mean, December 9th, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, it was right there. Even Thursday. Friday was the first day it was like kind of pushed itself down. And that's probably your dip and rip situation. So it looked great and just kept pulling back there, LGHL. And then penny ones do it, I'm telling you. And now it could be that dip and rip. So we'll look for that for a little bounce off of LGHL and XTIA. Let's see what this aerospace and defense company wants to do. It's down at 4 cents and it was in the basement. I'm not sure it wants to dip a whole lot more. The only thing you got to worry about is like a reverse split, but I don't think they talked about one of them either. So, um, not to my knowledge, anyway, and it doesn't look like it. But yeah, this thing's been trying to get set up for so many times here, and now it's in the basement. So keep an eye on it because I'll watch it and see if this MACD wants to roll off of here, which it kind of is setting up to do. That's when it's finally going to get cruising, and so we have to watch XTIA. Because if it gets cruising, it'll get cruising here. It's been just dragging itself and pouncing around, kind of pulling back right now. So we'll see. And obviously, if they're all green and popping up Friday, they were all kind of pulling back. It was just the whole market. So it wasn't really making any of them look real strong. And they could get cruising this week. So TANH, let's look at this one. Another one it was in the right spot. It did run up there on December 4th, but it still was in that channel, and I think it's going to get back into that channel now, TANH, and try to get cruising again. It ran up big time on December 4th, 17 to 31 cents, and it has like a crazy look. It's hitting that MACD line pretty hard. I actually have to look at this tomorrow. I can't even tell, but I would think it's going to try to bounce back up and get into this channel like that 16 cents to 15 cents, exactly where it's at. And so we'll see with TANH, but it does look like it wants to get up into that channel right there and run around a little bit to try to set up. And ORIS, Oriental Rise Holdings, this one went crazy. I know we had looked at this thing, and it is a China packaged food company. We looked at it back. I think then Laptop Travel, I think, brought it to our attention, but it did pop up quite a bit the other day, and then it came dipping down, ORIS, and like I said, it popped up on the what was it, that fifth right there, and then it's been running down. I think it's another one that you just kind of had to catch that pop right there. It was setting up on the third. And then on the fourth, it just had this weird look, and then boom, it went from literally 9.93 to $56. It just went nutty. And it had closed at $8 the day before. And before that, it was down here in like the sevens and sixes. So it ran up pretty solid. It honestly looked pretty solid. So the fact that it came way back down so fast was pretty impressive too, because it looked like it was keeping its momentum up there, and it did not. So we'll have to look at it to see if it's going to set back up ORIS, and we'll take a look at that. And EFSH, that 1847 holdings, we've looked at plenty of times before, and that could be a little dip and rip situation on Friday. And a lot of these things are just have them pullbacks, and let's see what it did. It ran 27 to 31 down to 20. It's at 24 right now. And again, it could be like a little dip and rip situation. That 20's up here though at 37. And like I said, we're down here at 24 right now. So keep an eye on this 1847 holdings EFSH and see if it wants to get set up. AUUD, let's see what that's up to. I remember we used to look at this guy and it had popped up a few times. So right now it's just hitting that line. Can't let me see. It that could go either way, to be honest. It looks like it was trying to get up to that 59 and stay between 57 and 59. It's at 55 right now. That's definitely one I'd have to look at in the morning. And ACON, let's take a look at this one. This one's a good pullback one all the way down here. And it had run up the other day. You can't hold these things long. December 10th, it ran up 17 to 20, and now you're looking at it at 10 cents. So it just plummeted half the value right there in a couple in like 3 trading days. And ACON, I'm not so sure it's ready to pop back up. But I'd have to look at it. Another one. They just have that weird look off of that Friday where they were all pulling back. They could go either way. So you just kind of have to see how the chart gets set up after the weekend. And and yeah, I'd be able to tell much better to be like, yeah, that's gonna pop. JTAI, this one's been bouncing around. Obviously, it pulled back on Friday. It was pulling back. I still don't think it looks too bad over here, JTAI. So we'll keep an eye on that this week because that could continue to run up again. And as soon as the market's green tomorrow, which it looks like it might be and should be, some of these might just reverse right around, especially with MicroStrategy and Bitcoin and things like that. All these computer hardwares and quantum ones like RGTI, that one was looking good. Wants to continue to run up into the top right here. So I would keep an eye on that as well because it does look like it's curling up 634 to 730. It's at 711. It was hanging out getting Slurpees. And but yeah, it's looking pretty good right there to get out and run tomorrow. So keep an eye on that RGTI. And let's look at QUBT and see what that one quantum computing's doing. Another one came down to that 20s, probably that bottom right there, and they're going to start curling up this week, I think. So keep your eye on these things because I think they're going to start blasting off again. They had to run down. They run up so much that it was crazy. Just like QBTS, that D-Wave quantum, that ran up $1 on Friday and a little over $1, and it's looking good, guys. So QBTS looking real healthy to try to keep running. And like I said, I think all these quantum ones, computer hardwares, they're going to get cruising again. QMCO, that is Quantum Corp, and that one just had a little bit of a weird look, but it was kind of bouncing. I could easily see that one just bouncing right up on tomorrow and looking good. And QTUM is the Defiance Quantum ETF, and that's curling up, trying to run back up into the top and get moving again. So could see these bad boys get cruising again tomorrow. And then they're really going to start running again. IONQ, that one is it was up $3. I know it was moving on Friday. I didn't realize it was up that much. And yeah, just another one, IONQ. Looks like it wants to be on Q and run with the rest of the quantum ones. So keep your eye on that because it's a computer hardware. It's right with them. And there you go. I would keep an eye. They look really bullish right there. Let's look at that PW. That one I think is hitting some the supports right there. So this one could get set up. PW, I know a bunch of people are looking at it, and it could have bottomed out finally at that, what, 114, 114 down there, and it's at 129 or what, yeah, 129. So we'll keep an eye on it. It's right between that channel, PW. It could be getting set up. And again, we were looking at it at this day when its high was 228, and we're looking at it 129 now, and we knew that was just pulling back. That was you could just see that one pulling back. WTO did pull back the other day. It ran up real nice. It had that look. Remember, I was telling you guys, look at this thing. It ran up and then it pulled right down. So these China ones are crazy too. And these penny stocks, they're very volatile. And is it going to bounce back up? It kind of looks like it. It ran up on Thursday, 32 to 43. And then Friday, 35 to 37, down to 25. And it's at 29. So it does look like it's trying to bounce back up, but they are volatile. They run around quite a bit. EJH, this one was down 2 cents, and this one's hitting that bottom now. So I was looking at this one earlier as I was going through some, and yeah, this one looks like it could be bottoming out. So keep an eye on that EJH because that one could be cruising. LCID, let's look at Lucid here. LCID. Good old Lucid Group. We were super early and it's still set up and it still wants to run. It was up 254 to 259. It closed at 258. And again, it still looks really good right there to keep that momentum. And we were super early. And UOKA, we were kind of early on that because somebody, I believe Scott, was looking at it. And it did run up there. And let's see, it had a little healthy pullback right there. Let me take a look on mine real quick. UOKA. And it did have some healthy pullback, nothing crazy. I could see it get moving back up a little bit more this week, so we'll keep an eye on that. Doesn't look bad at all. So that is UOKA. And let's look at TPST here. Tempest Therapeutics. This one's hitting the bottom down here. And let me see what this one wants to do. TPST. And yeah, it's just hitting the bottom. It curled down, but it could be hitting some that's the support line to try to bounce off. I'll take a look at that one too. TPST. We'll see if it wants to get in the basement or just bounce. So we'll look at that one. And here we go. Let's look at Laptop Travels. His option list right here. I didn't write down the prices. I did tweet it out or reposted it out. So you guys can look at the pricing on there, but we'll go through these and we usually go through most of them, but I'll go through them right now. We already went through one, but let's just run through his options list right here. Clean Spark, CLSK, one that has to do with crypto, and it was way down, and I have to agree with them right there. It looks like it's ready to get cruising back up. CLSK, so I would have to say he's good on the money on that one. CLSK is looking good. We just looked at RGTI. We already know it's looking good. That one should be moving back up, so I think he's on the money, and he had bought options super early on that, so he's way in the money on them bad boys, and he should be even better after this week. So that is RGTI and CUX, or is it CVX? CVX. Oh, Chevron, of course. Duh. Yeah, Chevron was way down, and that one's looking really good. It could pull back just a hair. Let me see. I mean, it could, but maybe not. That could be its bottom too at that 153.08, at that 153.87. And again, it could pull back just a little bit more because it has some time to set up. But CVX, I think, is going to be good. Chevron, we talked about that as the one of them ones that's going to look good for the Trump administration. And again, it is setting up super bullish long term in like a month. And you know you're going to get some bounce around with that. So that's Chevron. TTE. What is this one? Total Energies. I'm not familiar with this, but it is way down here. It's curled up and looking good. I think this is going to move. It's another oil and gas. Total Energies. SEADR. TTE. Let me see. Yeah, it looks like it's going to try to roll right off that MACD right there. So we'll keep an eye on that. They had some dividends not too long ago, and it is down at that bottom and crossed over, just cruising along flat over that MACD. Not looking bad there for TTE. So let's look at VNO, and that's Vornado Reality Trust. Vornado, and this one is crawling up, guys. This one looks really good. VNO. So I have to agree with that one as well because it looks like it bottomed out way back here at like 41.33 or at 44.67 and it pulled back to 43.44. But yeah, you're getting rolling off that MACD and you're getting popping up on here. So VNO definitely looking good there. CLSK, RGTI, Chevron setting up. And what did I even say? TTE was looking on. Just said it like 2 seconds ago. Oh yeah, Total Energies. That one is kind of setting up down there. So I would say that is a setup as well. So yeah, that's the ones he liked for options. Not looking bad. Let's look at his list real quick. Bang through them because you know there's going to be a lot of great setups. We'll go through the big caps and all them, and crypto is crazy. And then let me know what you guys want to see. So go ahead and send over some messages while I roll through these, and you know we'll go through everything. So here we go with BOXL, Boxlight Corporation. Oh, that one's setting up really good. BOXL, keep your eye on that because that one's going to be moving very well, possibly tomorrow. That one's going to be moving right there. BREA, that one's another one looks really good. And I'm telling you, we can run through these fast because I looked at a couple of them, not many, about three or four of them, and they all looked pretty set up randomly. BREA, that one's another one just trading in that channel, but that one's definitely setting up. BWEN. Broadwind, this one was setting up. I did look at this one actually. BWEN, And this one was going to roll off that 20 to 50s at 190, and it does want to get cruising there. So BWEN's looking good. That Clue CLEU didn't look at this, but wow, that's a nice curl up right there. Yeah, that one's looking real good. CLEU. It's a little flat on mine. It looks great on the FinViz, and I can imagine it's looking better. That bottom was 17 cents. You're at 19. So keep an eye on this CLEU. It does look pretty decent to be set up right there, I would say. And let's look at DLPN real quick. DLPN, that's Entertainment. I remember we looked at this a long time ago. DLPN. We might have looked at almost every stock ticker at this point, I feel like, but maybe probably not because there's thousands of them. I'm telling you, I scan through them and I see some, and I like today. I didn't even know Dropbox was DBX. So there are just so many of them. Then you get all the OTCs and even more. It's crazy. But Dolphin Entertainment's about to go jumping like a dolphin out of the water right here. So keep an eye on that one. That one looks really good. Dolphin Entertainment. That 90's up at 123, not too far off from the 117 it's at. But it does look really good to try to get jumping. So keep your eye on Dolphin to be a jumper right there. And DSS, let's see what that's up to right now. DSS, that one's bouncing up off of that support line right there. Yeah, it ran up on Friday, 105 to 122. It's at 101, and it looks like it wants to continue up. So I'd watch DSS for sure. That one looks like it wants to keep some momentum right there. ECDA, let's see that one. ECDA, ECD Automotive Design. And this one's trying to curl up. It's right in that channel right there, looking pretty good. It did run up on Friday as well. 110. It opened up. It closed on Thursday at 97. It opened at 110 and then came back down to 90 and it closed at 98 and looks pretty good there. So ECDA is looking pretty strong. And FGI Industries is setting up really, really good, guys. This one's setting up to be bullish up there. So keep your eye on this FGI. It ran around, 86 and came down to 80. I think it gapped up. Yeah, it went up. It opened up a penny higher and then came down, but it's right in that channel. And I'm telling you, this thing's setting up too. So FGI looking real good. And FLNT, good old Flint. Let's see what Flint, Michigan's doing now. It's Fluid Ink, and this one is curling up right here, looking good. I did not look at this one, FLNT, but it does look really good in between that channel 281 to 293, and it's at 283, so that one should get cruising as well. FLNT and GLMD, let's see. That's a pharmaceutical company that's really curling up right there on there. And yeah, that one's a runner too. So keep your eye on GLMD. That's looking good. GNPX, Genprex. This is another one just crossed through looking good right there. Let me just see right here. GNPX. Here we go. Genprex. Yeah, that one's going to get cruising, guys. That one looks really good. Keep your eye on that one tomorrow because that one looks like a runner right there. And let's take a look at Grow and see what we're growing over here. GROW, the U.S. global investors. Let's see if they're going to grow some money. GROW, I would say they're about to grow some money. It's at 244. It wants to get to that 245 and blast off. So keep an eye on GROW, and that is Grow. It's an asset management company, and it is looking decent right there. PMCB, is that it? Yeah, PMCB. And this one just curled through and is looking good. PMCB. Maybe not. I don't. Actually, the FinViz makes it look like it's crazy. And in mine, it definitely pulled back there on Friday, 163 to 176 down to 150. So I'd have to look at that one. That looks like two different setups to me. So I would take a look at PMCB in the morning, make sure I see what that's doing. REBN, that Reborn Coffee. Let's see. That one is up 5 cents. Let me just take a look. It's in this channel right here, REBN. And yeah, this one is trying to get set up right here. Reborn Coffee, 125 to 136, back to 119. See what that's doing in the morning, but it should get running into that channel. And it is at like 175 is the 50 there. So it could run up there. And that is REBN and SELX. Let's see what SELX is doing. This one's getting set up apparently on here. Let me make sure. And it is setting up, but it did pull back 157 to 140. It's at 150. I'd have to look at it, but it does look like it is setting up. I'm not so sure it wants to get popping tomorrow, but it is setting up SELX. And let's look at SIDU because this one's been setting up here. It was up 12 cents. This is City of Space. I know we were talking about it. That's how I knew immediately that it was already setting up SIDU. And it really is. Like I was saying the other day, we need these things out in the aerospace and defense, City of Space, and anything with all these crazy drones. But yeah, this one's looking great. SIDU. So watch for that one to get moving. And then SLRX, this one I thought ran up, didn't it, on Friday, if I remember correctly? Did something, ran up 3 cents. Maybe it didn't get cruising that much, but let me see. SLRX. Maybe I was wrong. I was thinking of something else because it got cruising on the 11th, so it definitely wasn't Friday. Friday it opened 141 to 148, and then it closed at 141. So I had that look, but just coming down to that MACD line and should easily curl back up. So watch for SLRX to curl up. SNTG, Centage Holdings. This one's setting up really good right here. SNTG. And yeah, this one's curling up, setting up, and going to get moving right there. And SOGP, let me take a look at this. And then I'll look and see what you guys want to look at. SOGP, Sound Group. This one's starting to curl up right there. Just a little bit flat, but nothing crazy. Let me see. It did run up a little, 191 to 176. So it gapped up is what it did. It closed at 181 on Thursday and then it opened at 191. That's why I had that look to me. And it does look like it wants to try to continue up there. So I would keep an eye on that SOGP, that sound group. That looks pretty good right there. And TAIT, Tatron Components or something, is curling up right there. TAIT, and it does look like it just crossed through and is curling up. And it's coming up to that 20, which is at 269. It's at 266, and then the 50's at 280. So that one could get moving for you as well. And TC, this one's too cool. It's called Tuan Shay or something. I don't know. It's a China internet content company, and it is just going to try to roll off that MACD and get cruising. This one might be TC for everything else tomorrow because it looks like it wants to run up to that $1.17. It's at 96. So keep an eye on TC because it is looking TC right now. And ZAPP, Zap. Let's see if it's going to get zapped tomorrow. Let's see what it's going to do. It's running up. It was zapping off on Friday. Let's see. Let me see. Zap 160 to 174, down to 155 and closed at 158. I'd have to look at it. It does have that look like it wants to continue up. They do have earnings on the 27th too. I swear, like every company has earnings on the 27th, right before the new year. That's a busy day right there. But Zap does look pretty good, I have to say. In the after hours, it did pull back. I'd have to look at it to see what it wants to do. ZAPP and then ZDGE. Whoop, ZDGE, Zedge. And let's see what Zedge is doing. They actually have earnings coming up on the 16th, which is tomorrow. So they have earnings. It actually looks decent, but you know how much I like the earnings. So we'll look at Zedge in another day. In a day or so. And yeah, definitely have their earnings tomorrow. It says it on both of them. And it does look pretty good. So if I had to guess, I'd say it would go up. But you know how good I am with earnings. And ZEP, ZEPP, ZEP Health Corporation. This one's getting set up and it's going to be pretty bullish down the road too. ZEPP. So just keep an eye on it because it is getting set up, like I said. And it's going to run around for a little bit. Its low is going to be down here around 257. You're at 290. and it's going to try to run up here into like the threes, the low threes. So that one's getting ready to try to get moving around. And KOLD, I just threw it on there, but we'll look at some ETFs. But this one is trying to curl up, but I'm not so sure. I mean, cold's been pretty chilly. It does look a little better right there. Let me just look at Boyle real quick and see what that's doing. And that one is trying to pull back at the moment. Let me see here. Boyle, it was down on Friday. It's crossed through. I think they might just be a little healthy pullback for Boyle. And let's see, cold. It could be like that little false little look like it wants to get cruising, but doesn't because it is pretty bearish. If it does, it's going to run up real quick and then pop back down. So we'll keep an eye on the Boyle and cold situation. But yeah, Boyle looks like it wants to run up there. And like I said, I might have just said that backwards. Boyle looks like it wants to like kind of run up there. Cold looked like it wanted to just run up real quick, possibly. So I'm not so sure it wants to continue its way up, but it does have that quick look like it does want to pop up. That yin and that yang were doing it too for a little while. But yeah, we'll keep an eye on this Boyle and cold. I'll look at them in the morning just to get a better idea and see what they're up to because they could get changed around. And again, Boyle's been bearish for a long, long time, and I think it's about to change direction. So it could be pulling back a little bit more before it really takes off and changes that direction. So that's Boyle and cold right there. I'll just hit a couple of these yin and yang real quick. The yin was pulling back there, and it is setting up pretty bullish right there. Let me see the yin. Yeah, I think the yin's just going to be getting bullish right there. And again, I think they're dumping money into China's economy or something. The yang was up, but I'm not so sure it's going to crawl right through right there. I'd be surprised, but we have to look at them. They are pretty confusing right now. The yang does look pretty good, but we've seen it so many times try to do like these looks and then they pull back right there. So it does look to me like it's going to hit the line and fall back down, and the yin's going to go higher. That's just what it looks like. NUGT, that nug. That's the gold miners, bull one. This one is just pulling back, and I think this is going to try to get set up down here. Let me see. NUGT. Yeah, just pulling back, about to hit the MACD line and the bottom there. So we'll see. I think this one tries to get pulled back and reset up right there. And that's Nug, and then we'll look at Dust real quick. DUST, and that was up 320, and it's curling up really nice. We'll have to see if it gets moving. And again, if it does get cruising for a little bit, which it does look like it is, for a hair, it's going to hit that resistance. Although it is, I mean, it is setting up kind of bullish. So the gold miners bear and the bull. I mean, it's kind. These ones are pretty strange. I'm not going to lie. Definitely two strange looks there. I've seen that happen before on them. We'll have to keep a closer eye on them bad boys and see what they're gonna do. And how about that gush and drip? The gush is the bull oil and gas. It was down, pulling back, and again, I think it's just gonna be bottoming out very soon, and that's gonna get reversed. So obviously the drip's probably running up and probably gonna be running its course. So yeah, the drip's running up a little bit. And we'll just keep our eye on them bad boys, and that is the DRIP, and that is the oil and gas, the bear one. So we'll see what's up with that. And there you go with some ETFs real quick. Let me go through, see what you guys want to see. We'll look at crypto real quick, our big caps, and we'll wrap up our Sunday night. So let me see the messages real fast, and then let me know if you want to see anything else after this. Where do I think GNPX is heading? That one looked really good. I know that. Genprex, it was getting cruising. I know it had run up before, up until like close to $4. Let me look. GNPX. What did it run up to that day? Hold on. It was back here. I don't know where it was. Where was it? November 12th? Maybe it didn't run up that high. I thought it ran up to, oh, that was a little bit further back then. And it was, never mind. I thought it ran up higher than it did. But it did run up back here. I do remember November it ran up and it's been setting up. And I'll tell you what, it looks like it has to get back up over this 130 area and then it can get cruising right there. So you should see it get back up over that 130 tomorrow. It got up to 123 the other day and it should get moving. How far? It's hard to tell on these bad boys. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, it's really hard to tell. Your 200's up here at 184. I'm not sure if that even matters. Yeah, they can just run anywhere. It's bizarre. And I mean, this is only at $1.16. Any of these low ones are just tough to, I mean, you can see when they're going to get moving, but where they go is just, it's tough. So that is GNPX. And yeah, I have no idea where it can run to, but it is just setting up to go. And APLD. And that's Applied Digital. This one had been pulling back. It had run up the other day, just a little pullback. And this one I think is going to be a great one too. Um, Let it just trade and maybe it pulls back into like the 820 range and then gets set up. So I'll keep an eye on that, but it is going to set up to get bullish. It could even touch down here to like 790 before it gets set up. And that's APLD. And yeah, that's a information technology, and they do some crypto stuff as well and AI and stuff. So, yeah, that'll get set up. It's just doing a little pullback because it recently ran up there. XTIA does vote for a reverse split on December 27th. There you go. What was I saying? Unless they reverse split. And I looked down, I didn't even see anything. But yeah, there you go. Thank you very much there, Bong Pre-Chan, because XTIA, like I said, it's just it wanted to get moving. It just got into that basement. It might pop up before that reverse split. Obviously, that's after Christmas. When everybody else has their earnings, they're having a reverse split meeting. So we'll watch for it to see if it does try to pop before that. But obviously, we'll be watching it after that reverse split because we do love them. So thank you very much for that info there, Bong Pre-Chan. And boom, no problem. Um, Jonah, right? Is that it? Yep, Jonah. I wanted to make sure I said it right. And how about PSQH? Let me look at it. PSQH real quick. Let's see what it's doing. PSQH. Here we go. PSQ Holdings. This one is just pulling back, but it looks like it's about to set up to run up higher again. So I think you're going to have a runner here. Yeah, it looks like it's trying to crawl back up and move again. PSQH ran up pretty nice there on December 3rd, up to that 777 and or even 870 in the after hours. But yeah, that one looks like it appears that it wants to curl back up there. And Wheeler WHLR is Wheeler Real Estate Investment Trust. And this one's curling up. I didn't even know it was in the basement, but they recently split. And this one's probably a good one to keep an eye on. Is Wheeler. Yeah, this one's curling up. It ran up a little Thursday. It opened at 593, went up to 762, and its low is 429. This thing's at 464. It's curling up. I'd say WHLR looks good to me. Wheeler, so I think that looks good. Jonah. Just wanted to make sure I said it right, and there you go. Boom, we did the CKPT, so I got all them bad boys real quick. Let me go through and look at crypto because that's cruising. We'll look at our big caps, go through all them, check out our options plays. And I'll check out Stock Twits and see what's happening there. And here we go. Let me take a look at crypto, everybody, and let you know what's happening. And the Sunday night game is Green Bay and Seattle, and Green Bay is up 20-6, and they're about to kick a field goal, and it is in the third quarter, and they made a field goal, so it's 23-6. Here we go. Bitcoin is at 104. It was up to 106 a little bit ago. 106,000. And I said right before it started cruising, I said, well, it's starting to cruise. And boom, there you go. It just started to cruise like a missile. And it crossed through for the most part. It's trying to get through. As a matter of fact, I'm going to look at it on my end. BTC USD and just see where that chart is right now. It's hitting the line right now. Let's see. It has to cross through and really get cruising here. So we'll we'll obviously be looking at crypto, but it should be pretty solid. It does look like it wants to. And Ethereum, 3,964 at the moment. And that one looks pretty solid. So it looks like it wants to try to crawl up there too. And again, are they going to cross through? They look like they have the momentum to do it. So let's see them do it. Ripple's at 241. And that one's just sitting on that 10, and it's kind of bouncing around right there, and almost has a little bit of a pullback look at the moment. So Ripple does have a little bit of a pullback look. Solana's at 222 at the moment, and let's see. Oh, let me see what's going on here. What I do? Solana is. Let's see. It could be trying to pull back there. I mean, it's down under the 50, so I don't know if it has that much more that it wants to pull back. I think the bottom was in and it'll start to curl up. Just has that look. It's right there. Doge is at 40. And again, we're going to tonight, overnight's going to be important, to be honest with you. If they cross through Bitcoin and them and Ethereum, then they're golden. They're going to run. If they get pushed down, they're going to come falling down. So, Doge is right there at 40, and that's hitting like that 10 and 30 meeting up, and it's an interesting look for sure. And Sheeb up here, let's see what that's doing. It is just sitting right in between that channel. That one should be pretty safe right there in that channel. Did I look at Ripple? Yeah, 241. I definitely looked at that. And again, that's just sitting right there. I mean, it's right on the 10. It could go either way. So let me look at Bonk real quick and see what that's up to. BONK. Whoa, what am I doing? BONK. Here we go. Here's Bonk real quick. And Bonk's been pulling back a lot lately. Let me see what it's up to. It is, oh, it's way down there. I think Bonk's gonna have to curl up. It's so far down there that I think Bonk has way, more than enough room. That WIF, let's look at that one. It's at 286 at the moment. And let's see. It is at 286, and it looks like it's trying to curl back up. And again, it's going to have to get that momentum and cross right through. And let's look at our Floki real quick. And this one is up 1%. And let me see. Oh, that one's sitting in an interesting spot where that 10 and 30 are both curling kind of down on it. So that's very interesting. So I would say tonight is pretty important night to watch crypto. I'll be checking it out for as late as I can. So there you go. And boom, there we are. And let me see what else. That's crypto. Let's do our big caps and then let me know what you guys want to see at the end, and we'll rock and roll right through it. Here we go. You guys ready for the spy? I know it was obviously down. We're going to be looking at Friday's look, obviously. So, but honestly, I think it's bouncing right off of that support line right there. It got right down to it at like 602. Its high was 607. That's a pretty big little runaround there on the spy. Opened at 606. Got it was up early and then came down to 602 and closed at 603. And again, it's on that hard line right there in that channel just about. So it could easily bounce up. It could easily bounce back down some more. It's an interesting look. I'm not going to lie. But I think they're going to be trying to bounce back up is what I think. Let's go through the rest of them real fast. And you know that we'll be looking at them in the morning anyway. So we will know regardless. So here we go. Apple AAPL. This one's in the top, and it has that look like it could go either way. Um, it does look like it wants to try to curl up some more, is what Apple does look like. So I think Apple is trying to curl up some there. Amazon, let's look at it. This one should be pretty solid. It was pulling back, kind of pulled back out the top a little bit, but nothing crazy. It's one of them looks where it could easily pull itself way back up and get cruising. So Amazon not looking bad at all. Google, I actually saw that quantum news was like getting kind of mainstream today about their that new quantum chip, how great it is, and we'll have to see what's happening right here because it's hitting that support line and at 191, and I think it's going to try to bounce right back up tomorrow. And that's Google, Goog. So we'll see what they look like in the morning. Like I said, I'm just telling you what they look like off of Friday's look. And let me see if I can type in Meta this time, META. It was pulling back another one right to that line. And I honestly think it's going to try to bounce back up tomorrow. It was up a little in the after hours, and it does look like it wants to try to get bouncing. So we'll see if it does. Obviously, we'll know early. And again, sometimes they're up early and then they pull back. Microsoft is the only one that I think is going to really pull back some, and it needs to. It ran up pretty fast. It looks like it topped out there on Thursday, and that one could pull back just to set up and get moving again, and that is MSFT. Microsoft and Nvidia was pulled back down here. And we'll see if it wants to dip down any lower. It has some good support right there. It is setting up to be bullish right down the road too. So we'll see if it has any more pullback tomorrow. I guess the market conditions are really going to dictate these bad boys. I would think because again, it was pretty red on Friday and they were just pulling back pretty good. And Tesla, this one doesn't even care. It just goes up. It was up $18 and it looks like it wants to keep going up. So Tesla's an animal and just keeps rolling. So keep an eye on Tesla because it does look like it wants to continue its way up. And let's look at the rest of these. AMC. This one's setting up to be bullish. It's going to come down, I think, a little bit more, touch that bottom, and then get set up to get cruising. I don't know what they have going on, but I have a feeling in about a week or so they have something going on. Maybe big Christmas holiday for AMC. I don't know, but something looks good there. GameStop, GME. This one just kind of pulling back. They recently had them earnings, and it is. It's just sitting right there with that little pullback look getting set up. So we'll keep an eye on GameStop, see what that wants to do. And Chewy, CHWI. Let's see what this is up to. This one's actually trying to get curled up now, so this one might be looking pretty good. We'll look at it tomorrow and see if it continues to curl up there. It'll be good. Netflix was down a little bit. I mean, it just came out of the top. Let it pull back. Maybe it'll come down to that 895. You're at 918 right now. So maybe Netflix will pull back a little bit. It does look like it wants to. It was way in the top there for a while. AVGO, this one went crazy off the earnings. Ran up like $44. I was saying it kind of looked good, but I wasn't touching it because of the earnings, and it did. It went crazy. I don't even know what the heck happened, but it is a semiconductor company, AVGO, and it did run up there. What it's going to do tomorrow is kind of hard to tell. It should stay in the top and run in there some more. And that's what it looks like anyway. MU, this was up $4. This thing's getting set up. They do have earnings coming up on the 18th, which is Wednesday, right? Yeah, Wednesday they have earnings. This thing's setting up and looking crazy. So I don't know what's going on with this guy, but keep an eye on it because it definitely looks good there. MU. Yeah, it's setting up. I have no idea, but it looks good. Another semiconductor company. And what was next is TSM. This one was looking good also on Friday as well. It was up 953, and it looks like it wants to continue to roll up there. TSM. So keep an eye on that one too, because TSM and MU both look good. SMCI, this was just pulling back a little bit there, and it is setting up. I think it's going to try to bounce off that MACD line right there. So keep your eye on SMCI tomorrow because, like I said, I think it's going to try to get set up and get moving. And that's obviously semiconductor AMD. This one's been trying to get set up. It pulled back. I think it's hitting this bottom right here. And this one's going to get rocking and rolling real soon. So what it do? 131 to 132 down to 124 and closed at 126. And yeah, it's just hitting that bottom. I think this one's going to try to get that bounce going soon AMD. So we obviously keep our eye on that. And PayPal, this one's been pretty bullish, and we've known it, and it looks like it wants to continue to go up. So PayPal looks good. PYPL, Snow, this one was pulling back, and we said watch for it to come right to this line, exactly where it's coming to, that 20. We'll see if it wants to break through that and come down any further. It kind of looks like it might. So we had nailed Snow pretty perfectly and let it pull back a little bit. QCOM, this one's getting set up, guys. It just looks pretty good right there. It's getting set up in the next couple weeks. And like I said, it does look pretty good. It just has to get up over that 159. It's at 158 25, and it was over that 159 on Friday, and it's looking really good right there for QCOM. And another one that's a semiconductor. So I think you see the pattern with the semiconductors. How about INTC? That's another one, semiconductor. This is way down. That bottom looks like it was the other day at 1987, and it's at 2033. So I know Laptop Travel was saying that he was interested in INTC. Just see if it has any more pullback here, if you get any better pricing. But I think INTC is going to get set up as well. And that's obviously Intel. And let's see what our buddies Disney's doing. Wow, that's finally pulling back again. It ran way up there. We were fine and good on that one. That was a nice, easy hit. Let it pull back, and we'll hit it again when it sets back up. And that's exactly what you do. You can see what I was talking about, that rotation. Like these guys, we nailed perfectly. Now they're pulling back, and there's a whole new set of them running. They're called the semiconductors, and the quantum ones are running up. So you just kind of nail the ones that are running, and then you get rid of them, and then the next set runs, and then you get ready for them, and you pick one, two of them, trade them smart, you nail them, you make a bunch of money on them, and then you get rid of them, and then the next one's set up, and then you just keep doing it. And then, like I said, if you want, you juggle like one to three of them, and boom, you're perfect. You just nail them, and your account goes up. So that's Disney, and we nailed that perfectly as well. And good old Oxy setting up. I'm telling you, it's just getting set up down here. It's about to be bottomed out. Just keeping my eye on it, and I'll let you guys know when that one's totally ready. Exxon Mobil, the same situation over here. Just kind of pulling back down to that bottom. It actually got into the basement, so we'll just wait for ExxonMobil to bottom out, wait for it to go back up, and boom, I'll let you know because it'll be a perfect one. Mara, this one's pulling back. Have a feeling it was just making a lot of room on the chart. As crypto is pulling back, it could easily start to curl back up tomorrow, so we will look at that. Riots looked great, though. It was up, and it's been bullish, and that thing's curling up and looking good, so if crypto keeps running, Riot's going to continue to run. It looks like it wants to anyway. So RIOT and MSTR was up $16 on Friday, and it was crawling up and looking good. The only thing, it was just to make sure it crosses through that line, crosses through. It looks really good. And like I said, it's crypto's right there. I kind of have a feeling it's going to keep itself up tonight, and then MicroStrategy will go insane tomorrow. So you'll want to keep your eye on MSTR for sure. And CLSK, we looked at that one is setting up. I agree. Coinbase, COIN, this one is pulling back a little bit, but did run up like crazy. I mean, it did run like I said, like crazy, and it's just kind of pulled back, setting up. So Coinbase will get moving again. DJT, this one was setting up, and like I've been telling you guys, this one wants to get rocking and rolling pretty soon. So keep your eye on that Trump media because it is looking good to continue its way up there. And that is DJT and the fun PHUN. This was down 18 cents and up a little in the after hours, but it is just jumping around there, but it is going to get fun. It's curling up. It actually curled through, and it's just running over that line. Has to get up over that 457 to get moving, and you're at about 426. So PHUN just setting up to get fun, and that will get cruising obviously relatively soon. MTN, the Val Resorts had pulled back, and again, this one ran way up. It's just pulling back to set back up and run up higher. So let it pull back, and we can catch it on the way up again. MCD, McDonald's. I'm honestly surprised it didn't start moving. Not that I'm going to play it, but it does look bullish. It's just trading in that channel right now, and I'm going to guess this week it wants to get moving. It wants to get moving. You can tell. And I'm surprised last week it didn't really start. So probably this week. Remember, I said Boeing just gonna keep going up. Aerospace and defense, yeah, just keeps going up. It was up. It's up to a 169.65. So it's probably gonna get in the top, is what it looks like somehow. And that is BA. And then SPCE. This one is getting set up, guys. I think I was just a little bit too early on it, and yeah, SPCE is getting set up to try to get moving. So I was telling you guys I wanted to go out to space soon, and I think you're finally getting your setup there. I think we were just a little bit too early. And Rivian, RIVN, and that's with options. That's the one thing you have to be careful with. If you're way too early and you pick too short of an expiration, you'll get nailed on that. So just something to think about with options. Rivian, we nailed perfectly. I mean, we got that down at 10. It's at 14.37 and continues to go up. That was a perfect shot right there. So that was RIVN, good old Rivian, and PLTR. This one just keeps running up, guys. Be very careful. And I think they're about to join the NASDAQ 100 or something. They're doing something. Yeah, join the NASDAQ. MicroStrategy, Axon. I don't know who else is, but I guess a few other companies. I forget. I did look at the list. Let me see if it says it real quick here. Um, the new ones. Let me see real quick if there's a quick list. I don't see a quick list. Anyway, who cares? Uh, that's how much news I care about. But anyway, yeah, they're joining the NASDAQ, PLTR, and it is going to be cruising up. And again, you got to be careful on this thing because it never really ever dipped. Came down that one day down to $68. It ran 72 to 73 down to 68, and then the very next day it was back up 75. So this thing's crazy. And Sophie's the same way. SOFI just came down, barely made any room, or made some room, but barely came down, and then it's popping right back up. And Dell, I'm telling you, this thing's gonna get set up. Computer hardware, it is getting set up down there. Maybe a little tiny pullback coming up, but nothing crazy. And Dell is getting set up. And Nike, this one's actually getting set up. I think they have earnings. I'll have to wait. December 19th. They have earnings on Thursday. It's between that channel. We'll wait until after earnings to evaluate Nike. DXYZ's just been crazy. It was pulled back a little bit, but it's in the top and it could easily bounce back up in there tomorrow and stay up there. That one's been nutty. And CRWD, somebody wanted to see CrowdStrike, and this one looks pretty decent too, actually. Looks like it's trying to pop up here, CRWD. So yeah, I think you might want to keep an eye on CrowdStrike. It is looking pretty good down there, huh? I remember they had that big dip back in August down to the twos, and it's back at 368 and looks pretty decent there. So that's CRWD. Let me see if you guys want to see anything else. I'll look at stock twits, tell you what's going on over there real quick, and we will wrap up our Sunday night. Obviously Bitcoin was up there, but PRQ Mara's trending. Mara looks like it's up or down a little. I don't even know. It looks like it could be up. I can't even tell. WULF, that Wolf, Terra Wolf. Let's see what that one's up to. That's trending real quick. Let's see. WULF. If I could type it in. There we go. That one is just kind of pulling back right there. Let me see. In between that channel pulling. That one's an interesting one. I have to look at that. It says it's down a little bit, but I could see that one getting reversed. MSTU is the MicroStrategy long, and that's up a little bit. MSTU and Ethereum's on here. MU is up, it looks like. That one's up. I said that one's looking real good. Ape, MicroStrategy, Bitcoin's at 104, and Ondo and ONDO is a crypto coin. So they're all trending right there. And boom, that's that one. Let me see what else is going on over here. Let me see if there's any good news stories for you guys. I doubt it. China new home prices fall at slowest pace in 17 months in November. China shares weigh on Asia peers after data dump. The final Fed meeting in 2024 awaits. So we got a Fed meeting coming up. Stock futures are a little changes. Wall Street gears up for a potential rate cut this week. Oh, there you go. We get a rate cut going on, and the stock market is up 27% ahead of the final Fed meeting of the year. Is a correction overdue? Oh, we're going to see a correction. Don't get me wrong, but it's going to have a nice little run and some great poppers before it. And like I said, things are running like crazy. I don't doubt that it's going to pull back, but we'll play that accordingly too. And now that going down, so we're not worrying about it. But right now, we're taking advantage of them because they're running up and they're pretty bullish. So there you go. I think that covered everything for our Sunday night. Let me make sure I got all our messages. Um, Joseph said SMCI dropped 8% after hours on Friday. Yeah, I think it's going to be getting set up here. SMCI, I did see that it did drop, but yeah, it is setting up here, and them semiconductors are looking great. It was 3803. Its high was 3809, so it never really ran. It came down to 3257, and it closed at 3410. It's hitting that line on the MACD, and like I said, obviously market conditions are going to be everything tomorrow, but I have a feeling that they're going to be trying to bounce back up. So that's what they look like to me. And we'll be on at 7 a.m. So I'll definitely reevaluate them all and tell you what they look like in the morning in the pre-market, how they're setting up. So American Airlines, AAL, this one had recently run up to the top. We used to look at it all the time. We should have probably kept looking at it because it kept running up since August all the way up here. So I remember we looked at it, it was down here in the nines. It recently just ran up into like the 18s. It's at the 16s. It is pulling back some, AAL, and had some good running. But yeah, just let it pull back and then it's going to set up. It's not going to pull back a whole lot, but it could pull back a good dollar or so. American Airlines, and then it'll get cruising again, RD. So that'll be that one. SMCI from K2, if ID is see it go up to 50 before the end of what's it at? What was it, 30 something? I forget what it even is. 36 will go up to 50. It very well could easily. Once it gets up over that 45, it's going to get right back over 50 for sure. So, again, we'll see market conditions tomorrow. I think it's going to try to roll off that MACD. 20 and 50 are meeting up, looking like it wants to squeeze it up. It's going to hit that resistance at 45. Once it gets over it, then it can run up there. So, we'll see how it starts opening up tomorrow. Again, we have a possible Fed rate cut this week, and then you're rolling into like I was explaining earlier, that Santa Claus rally does look like it's a good possibility. These things can be really hot, heating up until the new year, and then again, you're going to see them popping. You're going to see Trump's administration come in. They're going to start cutting a lot of costs and a lot of stuff, and when they do that, you're going to see the market come down. It's going to look like it's really bad. It's really not bad. It needs to happen, to be honest with you. And like I said, we'll play that accordingly too, because with options, you can do it. So we will now every which way. So there you go. And that's what I think about SMCI and all them guys. Let me see if I got everything else. And I think I did actually. So there we go. Yeah, I think we're going to be looking pretty decent in the morning again. I'll be in 7 a.m. We'll have our Joey's jumpers, our laptop lowdowns, and our crypto and our big caps, and I'll run through our SPY and everything first thing. You know that. So we will do that first thing tomorrow. Take a look at it, see how we're looking, and find what's going to be popping. So there you go for Sunday night. Thanks everyone for tuning in. Laptop Travel, always winner mute. Luis Rodriguez and RD, Tommy, Bong Chan, and Doge Mama 9, and Sherry K, Game Changer, Money. Senate, I don't know if I said that right, but Jay Kratz, Lynn, Christian, Joseph, Bruce Love, how are you? Air Trout, Randy, Sean, and Paul Payne, how are you guys? Everybody, again, thanks for tuning in. I greatly appreciate it. Let me know if you want to see anything in the morning, and I will definitely go over them. You know that, and I'm just seeing if I caught everything. Yeah, it looks like I got everybody's messages, SMCI. So yeah, we'll go through all them bad boys in the morning as well. I'll run through the semiconductors real quick, and I'll look at Dropbox and the what is it, NWL, and I'm telling you that UMAC is looking good. So I'll tell you real quick I'll post my thing, but I'll tell you real quick before I end it. I was just looking at UMAC again because it looks really good, but. Yeah, that IXHL looks pretty decent to continue to run up, has some good momentum there. Watch for IVP to try to bounce down there. Let's see, play Dave and Buster's is looking pretty good. That CKPT is looking decent. Adobe's way down. Watch for that bad boy. QLGN was looking good. And you know that TNRN can run at any moment. Let's see what else is looking good over here. BHAT is trying to set up. That lion was way, it took a nice dip. Watch for that for a little dip and rip. All the quantum ones are looking great, guys. So RGTI to IONQ, they're all looking really good. So you know they're decent. Laptop Travels list was great. I mean, I pointed out a bunch of them, especially that GNPX. And again, the semiconductors like MU, TSM, I think SMCI is going to look good. QCOM, AMD is going to get set up there. Obviously, MicroStrategy, Tesla's been rocking and rolling, and so many more. So there you go. I think we have a lot of them that we can attack. And again, you just see the ones that you like, you're the most confident with, and they're the ones that you trade. You trade them smart, and you start small. You get confident with them and comfortable, and then you add a little bit. Like you start with one option, and you start with two, and then three and four, and you build it up. You don't just go in and buying 10 options right off the bat and trying to figure it out. It's not the way to do it. So again, I definitely gonna have the video. I was messing around with everything. I may even just shoot it right now because I'm just cruising right along, and it was a busy weekend coming into the Christmas holiday. Ton of stuff, kids' birthdays and Christmas parties. Holy cow, it was jam-packed, action-packed. So I'm sure everybody's is, and you guys know what I'm talking about. So there you go. I definitely want to put that video up. I'll put up this video as well. I've been trying to keep up on the live shows and keep them up to date so you guys can watch them. So make sure you check out the YouTube and subscribe. Check out the videos because you can see what I do. I run through the charts and you can watch them all. And there you go, everybody. Thanks again for tuning in. I'll catch you guys early in the morning. So I'll see you at 7 a.m. Tune in. Let me know what you guys want to see. Have a good night. Get some rest. And I'll catch you guys in the morning. Have a good night, everybody.